Welcome to the Steelers Realm Podcast. And now, here are the boys of Steelers Realm.
Hey, Steeler Nation, we are back. It's another episode of Steelers Realm Podcast. Great to be with you again. I'm one of your hosts, JT, and we got a great lineup again for you tonight. Coming back again, CJ in the house with us tonight. What's up, my man? How you doing?
Not much. Enjoyed listening to you guys last week. Just kind of giving you guys a heads up, though. I think if 3 PGA golfers were to leave for the Live Tour, you might need to replace me. That's how bad it's getting for the PGA.
You got to throw your hat in there.
I'm throwing my hat in the ring, baby. PGA, you want someone that's entertaining?
Oh, God. Here we go.
I'll bring the Happy Gilmore style. I'll sell some tickets, and I'll shoot a 76.
Well, yeah, and guess what, ladies and gentlemen? You might be able to get out on the course and see us here down the beginning of August, Saturday morning down there. But anyhow, hey, joining us from the other side tonight, it's Freight Train. What's going on, man?
Hey, what's up, everybody? Hope you all had a great week so far. I just recently got back from your guys' side of the river, and you guys need to riddle me this. Is Pennsylvania always as humid as it was last weekend? Because it was miserable.
Oh, baby, it's a hot box. It's a hot box.
I thought I was in Florida.
Nah, that's what you get here. It starts in the spring and ends in fall like that. It's muggy.
It's Florida with without all the tax breaks. So hey, and beaches and all the good stuff.
That's it.
Yeah, but hey, on a serious note, I just want to say real quick, I headed over there to Gettysburg. If you live in the state of Pennsylvania and you haven't been to Gettysburg, get over there. What a sight to see.
Pretty cool. Actually, the drive over there is pretty cool as well. Hey, I want to give a shout out to the famous TA taking the night off tonight. Safe travels out there, brother. We'll catch up next week. I'll be stepping off, tied up next week. Won't be on, so you'll have those guys to entertain you too. But yeah, man, decent weekend too. I was out there. If you guys would have played a little bit later, we're going to stop down. We were over in Mechanicsburg, just on the other side of Carlisle, PA. And if you ever driven the Pennsylvania Turnpike from the Berg over to Philly, you'll go through a couple sets of tunnels right through the Allegheny Mountains. It's a pretty cool trip, man. Somebody out in the flatlands out there making it over the first time. It's pretty cool.
So JT, I got a question for you. You hit the Turnpike this week, right?
Yeah.
I don't know if you're familiar with last year's stories. The Turnpike failed to collect $13 million. So how many tolls did you get out of?
Quite a few.
That's
is change the license plate.
That's the Pennsylvania difference, baby.
Pennsylvania way. But no, I'm too legit now too. They got my plates and my Easy Pass numbers too. So if you don't have an Easy Pass, you better get one because it save you money. And save you a lot of time at the Bay Bridge if you're going over to Ocean City too, travelers. So get one before you go. Little bits of advice. So anyhow, guys, interesting week. It was kind of dull until just 24 hours ago, and stuff started happening. I guess everybody takes a few days off. But yeah, cool stuff lined up. Want to welcome you to join in Steelers Realm once again. Everybody out there, we're gonna SteelersRealm.com will give you all the links for any platform. You name it, we're on it. But we're glad to be with you. Thanks for tuning in. Got a good show tonight. Obviously, our Jagoff of the week, guys. We've got to get to that. And then some sad news again. Don't want to bring it down, but we remember somebody we lost, a friend of some of our friends too, as well. To camp competition, our history forged in steel segment, and then some other cool blogs and other things that we want to talk about tonight too. So, guys, what do you think, man? You ready to jump into it?
Let's do it, baby. Let's get
Wrap
into the
it.
hot tub.
Well, obviously, there's been a lot of chatter out there in social media. What was it? The Madden thing got released. I don't know.
Yeah, so you know what?
Tell me about this debacle.
Jagoff of the week. Anyone, if you work for the Madden EA franchise, I'm putting you on blast here. You're the Jagoff of the week. If you collect a paycheck from EA, you are Jagoff of the week. It's not something that you want to, it's not an accolade, but here you go. It makes no sense to me. So TJ Watt, Defensive Player of the Year, he's got more sacks. He's got more tackles for loss. He's got more tackles. He's got more forced fumbles. And you know what? He's ranked behind media darling Myles Garrett.
Darling.
Myles was rated in the 99 club. And TJ at 96. Doesn't make sense to me. Doesn't make sense to a lot of people that I saw on social media, and even non-Steelers fans. Right? Yeah, they play different positions. But why we ranking and releasing edge rushers is the same when one's a 4-3 DN and the other one's a 3-4 outside linebacker.
Well, yeah, it doesn't make sense. And everybody wants to talk about how Myles Garrett gets double and triple teamed every single play. Did they not watch TJ last year? Because it seemed like every single play, it looked like he was getting arrested out on the field.
I'm just gonna.
Offensive linemen and
hey, Freight. I'm just gonna go ahead and say it. I think the difference in the developers' heads and their thinking behind it was he got bonus points for pulling a Jesse Smollett and taking Mason Rudolph's helmet and hitting him over the head with it. That's my only thought process.
Okay, well, this isn't NFL Blitz. It's Madden football.
Well.
And then the other one is Najee Harris. He's only rated at an 85, and he's behind the likes of Leonard Fournette, Saquon Barkley, who can't even stay on the field, so his injury rating on the game has to be 100. And then Ezekiel Elliott and Cordell Patterson are in front of him. I mean,
Ezekiel Elliott isn't even the best player on his team. Isn't even the best running back on his team. It makes no sense. These rankings make no sense. And guess what? They played right into it. We're sitting here talking about these Jagoffs of the week.
Well, I'll tell Steelers Realm a little cheat code that you can go into the game, and if you want them to be 99 overall like they should be, just go into the settings, go under the AI settings, and turn them all the way up. Everybody will be 100 overall. You'll also score about 120 points a game, but
it doesn't. It didn't matter. I feel when it came to safeties with Minkah not appearing on the top 10, Deontay when it came to wide receivers and all that stuff, it felt like, they looked at the Steelers and they said, let's get a rise out of these guys. They did their job. We're sitting here, we're talking about it, but like every fan base was like, this makes no sense. Do you watch football?
Right. Well, if they wanted to get a rise, they could have put Chase Claypool in the top 3 of the wide receiver group.
Or of the NFL. Well, if they had any, would have. That's for dang sure.
No stones.
Nope. Shame on you, EA Sports.
So
they're the official Jagoff of the week.
Yeah,
Best of
the
luck to him.
Jagoff. There you go. There you go. Speaking of jagging off, how about the Manscaped, guys? How's that plan going of yours? The trim it up plan, the shine it up plan, the chrome dome.
Boy, I tell you what, before I left for Gettysburg to come to your guys' side, I trimmed up before I came, and TA put me on the pitcher's mound, and it gave me just a little bit more old English on the spin on my balls, and
No
not the
change.
ones down below the waist, the ones that came out of my hand towards the batter.
Not only do they have great men's grooming products, for the first time today, with our packages that they're gracious enough to send to us, in my underwear pile was the Manscaped boxers.
There they are. There you go.
I threw them on. I'm like, these are a little tight, whatever. After a little bit, it felt good. And I'm like, it's a hot day here in Western PA. As we talked earlier, it's humid as hell here.
Yeah.
It wicked the sweat away. I've never been more comfortable. I think I need to order more.
There you
I
go.
really do.
Right there. Well, manscaped.com will have all those for you. And check out their the grooming project, the men's grooming products. Finally, they precision instruments, man. Seriously, you turn that baby on, and the lawnmower, hedge trimmer, or the weed whacker. Good stuff, guys. Good stuff. Check it out. Manscaped.com. We got a deal for you. Enter Realm 20. Realm 20. It'll get you 20% off plus free shipping. Check it out. Manscaped.com. So thank you, guys. Continue to help you out. Help us out. Help us. Help you.
Absolutely.
Help you. Help us.
Yes.
So, what do we got to talk about? Do we want to get into some sadness a little bit? We lost the guy, Charles Johnson, passed away, 50 years old, guys.
Yeah, what a shame. I mean, 50 years old to pass away is just way too young. I mean, and he played 5 seasons with the Steelers, and his best season coming in '96. He had 1,000 yards, over 1,000 yards receiving, 3 touchdowns on 60 receptions. That was only on 60 receptions. That's a really, really good year. He's the first round pick in 1994, and he was really, really good friends with another show friend. Hope to get him back on, and Cordell Stewart, and they were
Mm-hmm.
teammates in Colorado.
Colorado.
So condolences to the Johnson family as well as the Cordell.
Just
Amen.
sad story.
And friends, teammates.
Sad story. Something like this happens at this young an age. You hope the family is taking it as best as they can. Best of wishes and prayers out to the family and all those that are closely involved with Charles. All we can do is hope and pray that they're okay.
Yeah. Amen to that, too. So,
Yeah.
all our friends out there, some other news. Retiree, former Steelers.
Ryan
You know who
Switzer,
this is?
the fair catch man.
The Wave.
The
Wave. Hung up his cleats and his wave.
one thing that's crazy is, he played 5 years in the NFL.
Mm-hmm.
Never really made that big of an impact on the Steelers' outcome on their games and stuff like that. But I think as fans, we kind of overlook how good you have to be not only to play 1 or 2 years, but to last 5 years with 3 different teams and 3 different teams to see value in you and who you are, not only as a player and a person, to live that dream out. So you know what, Ryan's got his full health. It seems that he has a beautiful family, and good for him.
Yeah.
Never made an impact really. But
Well, the thing that was easy to root for Ryan was he wasn't always the most athletic guy on the field, but he had the most heart. And
Yep.
he tried his damnedest to make a difference in the football game.
I swear to God, the Pitt Panthers, he should be donating them some money after what he did to him every year he was a member at UNC. But we'll move on. I'll digress.
Well, and he wants to
Yeah,
get into
so-
coaching too, so that, you know, he's
Future-
not done
future-
with football.
Future wide receiver coach, special teams coach for Mike Tomlin. Mike Tomlin loved the guy, and there's a reason for that. Which, if Mike Tomlin loves you, you're probably destined for something special.
Well, we'll see. It could be a good possibility.
Yeah, this guy was good friends with Charleston Johnson too. As a matter of fact, I texted him as soon as I heard the news, and I think he just mentioned they were kind of tore up, and then he sent me a picture with him and Ron Woodson in the car. So yeah. So hey, who knows? Maybe we'll get him back on there. But hey, make sure to check out his episode. Former Steelers cornerback Brandy Fuller, known for the immaculate deflection back in the 95 AFC Championship game against Colts. You guys remember that? They weren't even sure what happened there. It was a Hail Mary pass. Jim Harbaugh. How about that name? But anyhow, you can catch Randy's episode with us, Steelers Realm. It was season 2, episode 33. Just go out to SteelersRealm.com and then just scroll down through there. All the descriptions in there. There's some great episodes in there. Check him out, man. So, yeah. It's camp competition, man. We're working our way towards it too, guys. I am so pumped to make this announcement. I think we released it on social media today. Is that true, CJ? We put it out here?
No,
news
it's
today?
actually, yes, it will be today that it's
Okay.
released. You guys are probably listening to it before it comes out. But at 1 o'clock tomorrow, we have our kind of big release here. We're going to be in Latrobe Friday night under lights, and then Saturday too. We're going to be there. We would like to talk to you, interview you, get some nice interviews. We want to hear from Steelers Nation at the end of the day because you guys are the ones that make us, right?
That's
You
it,
guys
man.
are the ones that support us and got us to where we're at this point.
Dying to mingle with you guys, get your thoughts, and looking to dig some of that good stuff up. Hey, by the way, I was chatting with Bubba from Triple B, and he might be joining us Friday night too as well. So look for our live Facebook Live check-ins throughout the night. Who knows? We may even get some other celebrities. You never know. Just get some fans on and have some fun with it down at Friday Night Lights. For those of you out of town or across the country that have never experienced something like that, it's be pretty cool. Hopefully, we'll be able to get some stuff to you without getting in trouble with the media police.
And even if we do get in trouble with media police, we're going to have fun and we're going to certainly report back.
That's it. And they'll have to catch us. So
In
anyhow,
the Silver Streak now. So
yeah, we'll have to convert to the Silver Streak.
yeah.
Camp competition is, we've been putting this off all year, guys. But of course, it's been an ongoing thing. And of course, if you're paying any attention to any of our social media out there, you've also seen comments about obviously the camp competition at quarterback. So that's what we're going to talk about tonight, guys. Quarterbacks and then also DBs.
Let's hold off on the quarterbacks till the end and jump into the defensive backfield first. What do you guys think?
Oh yeah, let's keep teasing them.
Yeah, let's keep
Keep
teasing
them on
it.
the
But
edge
hey,
of their seat.
some more. I just remembered this. There's some more stuff came out about quarterbacks in a Ramon Foster interview. You didn't think I was going to bring this up?
Let it rip. I have my thoughts.
Should we? Okay. All right.
Let it
So
rip.
anyhow, yeah, this interview with Ramon Foster, and it's kind of like Ramon tells all. There were quite a few takeaways from that, but one of them was a story that it was a major dust up in the locker room, and it was supposedly over two players were seeing the same guy, right?
No, it wasn't a guy.
Same guy.
Or seeing the same
Whoa.
gal, rather. I'm sorry. Yeah, no. So these two guys happen to be dating the same, and I think Dev brought this up way a long time ago, last year sometime, or even I'm not even sure when that was from. But yeah, that was a major nobody knew about what was going on. But remember Dev broke it. What was the cucked? He got cucked. Remember the cucked episode?
Mm.
We'll have to dig that one up too. But anyhow, he didn't mention any names, but we all know. And later in the write up, and I can't recall where I read it from, but later in the write up, they went on to say that rumor was at the time that Mason Rudolph. And whenever Joshua Dobbs came back on the Steelers again, he had been dating her when he wasn't on the Steelers. And so somehow they ended up dating the same girl and both thought they were seeing her at the same time. It's pretty interesting, though.
Just nothing that makes that QB room more all out, backing each other up, helping each other out, lending a hand or two in times of need.
Talk about
Just,
quarterback competition.
Or they were ultimate teammates.
Well,
too.
Well,
I don't want to speculate, but she got out of the Pittsburgh Steelers QB room pretty quickly after that time frame. She's now out in LA. We won't mention who she is. Very beautiful young lady. She probably made the right decision in doing that. And we'll leave it at that. But anyway, defensive backs.
All right. So, I couldn't resist that. A little fun with it since we're going to get into quarterbacks, but I guess not yet. So,
It's like a Days of Our Lives episode.
Oh.
So, all right. Let's crank this back up again. We kind of like stalled out here flat, and I was a main proponent of that. So anyhow, but yeah, so who we got back there? Fitzpatrick, obviously. Speaking of getting dissed, where did he rank on Madden?
Didn't.
Yeah, he wasn't even in the top 10, correct?
Seriously?
Hey, we didn't nominate him for Jagoffs of the Week by accident.
Yeah.
Just saying.
All right. And my man, of course, Terrell Edmonds, sticking around another year.
He's going to start 17 games.
JT.
He's going to start 17 games.
Why do you sound so sad about it?
About Terrell Edmonds?
Around. Yeah.
Nah, he played pretty solid last year, so I'm good. I'm good. I hadn't been good, but I'm good.
Yeah, I mean,
right. So who else we got back?
So for me, just kind of, I'm going to hop right in here, do a little cannonball. When it comes to the defensive backs, kind of the three people I'm looking at are Akila Witherspoon, Levi Wallace, and Cam Sutton. I think when it comes to, your every down corners, those three are going to be mixed in there, and I really expect to see we move Sutton back into the slot and let Witherspoon and Wallace on the outside. Now, one thing that could kind of throw that off, obviously, is injuries, but James Pierre actually played pretty well in the slot last year. So there actually is some depth there. And then obviously you have people like Justin Lane, who they drafted. I believe he was a 4th-round draft pick 3-4 years ago. And it's kind of we call it a make it or break it year for a few other people. It's definitely make it or break it for Justin Lane. So that's just kind of how I'm looking at it. Edmonds, Fitzpatrick, starters. And then those 3 corners, I think, are going to see the bulk of the snaps.
Yeah, I'm kind of with you on there. The only one that I'm kind of not as high on is James Pierre. I seen him kind of in the wrong spots, the wrong times last year. The other key name I think is Trey Norwood, because I think he came in and played some really solid minutes there towards the end. But yeah, I think Levi Wallace comes in. He's a starter. He kind of got lost in that Buffalo's defense because they have a lot of good starters over there, and he was kind of that under the radar guy, but he's a starter in the league. I think he's very, very solid.
What about Millette?
I was
Yep.
getting there, JT.
Oh, I'm sorry. Got another game I don't think we mentioned. But that's a different position.
I would like to see them use Millette as kind of how we did. I'm missing the name now. He went to Kings.
Sutton.
He went to Cincinnati. Help me out. Who am I
If you
thinking
leave
of?
the Steelers and you go to Cincinnati, you don't have a name anymore. We all know who you're talking about. We're not going to call him by his own name. He doesn't deserve to be called by his own name, but we all know who you're talking about.
I don't know why I'm drawing a blank.
5'6" slot corner. We're not going to say his name.
Okay.
So continue.
But I would like to see maybe Mullet get in there and play a little bit of that type style, because he's really a solid tackler, and I think he can get into the backfield and make those plays as said player did, which really helped our defense out. So Justin Lane, I'm not as high on. He just kind of almost looks lost out there, but he plays really good special teams, and that's huge. So I think that's where he ultimately is going to be making his mark this year, is on special teams, barring any injuries.
Well, over the last year, hasn't it had been a little like back and forth between St. Pierre and, or not St. Pierre, but Pierre and Lane. Like one year, like they kept kind of flip flopping as who was going to emerge as the better two. Anyhow, go ahead. I'm just thinking out loud.
I just kind of heading in camp. You never know when it comes to undrafted rookies and all that stuff. But they signed a guy that's coming into camp this year from USC. His name's Chris Steele. He's about 6'2". He's got the size. He's 200 pounds. He had a very up and down college career, but at the same time, he has the measurables. When it comes to coaching and all that stuff, you would hope, the Steelers coaching staff can kind of maybe figure out what makes him click. And he's just kind of a name that I'm kind of looking at as we head to Latrobe. I want to see how this guy performs, because I think his potential, we've seen what we're going to see in Justin Lane. No offense to him. He is your 4th or 5th corner on a best day. But maybe there's something here with Mr. Steele and his chance. All you need is a chance. It's like a chip in a chair. So I'm excited. He was a 2021 All Pac-12 honorable mention by Phil Steele. If you guys don't know him, he's the big college football writer. And, I'm just kind of excited to see what we have in this guy.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, he has the accolades in college to come over here, and he's got the size. So he's that good size for that corner position. So, and it's like you said, he needs to come in camp, make some plays, open some eyes to make the team. Because you have some guys in there. Now, mind you, it's a different defense this year. So, there's a little bit left that we need to see where these guys ultimately fit in.
Now, Freight Train, I've given you the time to think about it. Do you remember his name?
I can see his face, and
Mike Hilton.
As soon as Mike Hilton, I knew it. Yep. As soon as you said that, it brought it back. Yep. Yeah, and that's the kind of position I'd like to see Mullet play.
Yeah.
Because
no,
you saw last year, he's a good tackler, big hitter.
He fits. He kind of fits that mold. Good edge rusher. Well, obviously as a corner, but he kind of mobile. He fits the mold, whatever. But I'm kind of excited. I'm excited to see what some of these younger guys can do.
Yeah, I mean, we don't have Joe Hayden back there anymore with his,
Yeah, we checked him
presence
into the old people's home
right.
down there
Yeah.
in Bellwood.
Just hopefully those guys picked and bounced stuff off of him and soaked it up like a sponge. Because let's be honest, Joe Hayden was very productive for us when he came here.
Oh, absolutely. I cannot disagree anymore. I actually think they're going to miss him. I do, honestly.
Yeah, I have to agree with that.
And it's not like they don't have the money, so there's a reason he's not coming back.
Right.
Anyway, let's
So
get
going into
it.
camp, guys. Let's talk about this. Going into camp, guys. All right, kind of put a nail on that going into it, CJ. But on a scale of 1 to 5, where do you rate our backfield going into camp? Obviously, things can turn on a dime, and somebody can shine and whatnot. But overall,
if
Overall
you were
confidence?
yeah, let's just say that overall confidence.
All right. Go ahead, CJ.
if we're talking safety play, my confidence would be a 4 because we know what we're getting in Edmonds, in Minkah. But when it comes to corners, let's be honest, a 2. We really don't know. We seriously don't know, which is scary.
Yeah, that's why I'm at about a 3.5. Gil
So-
Weatherspoon came in, played well, but we need to see if he can put it back together. And there's just so many question marks. Cam Sutton has, stretches where he plays very, very well and turns into a really good cornerback. And then there's weeks where it's just like, where the hell you at? So
my official number is 2.3.
All right. Well, that's below the line. That's below the line.
Would
it be safe to say that this is a weak spot on the team?
Oh,
I would say
100%.
most
On
definitely.
high level.
Yeah, most definitely. But hopefully the addition of somebody like Levi Wallace gives them a little bit of freshness to the room. But we shall see. I'm still not.
And who's the other
confident.
safety we brought in too? Was that the
Kazee.
Atlanta guy?
Yes.
Is that what I'm thinking of?
DeMonte Kazee.
Yeah.
Kazee.
He's the depth guy.
Depth guy. Okay.
I don't know. I just, as a Steelers fan, we've always had issues at corner and in the secondary. And each year you're like, hopefully this is the year we draft someone high that can be that shutdown corner. And then it's like, I give the Steelers credit though. They did the Artie Burns experiment. They failed. And then they realized, you know what, we can't scout the secondary worth shit. We're going to trade, we're going to make trades, we're going to sign free agents and proven players. I give them credit for their pivot. And I'll be interested to see what the new GM does here in the upcoming years with the secondary.
You guys ready for the second phase?
Pretty much. Hey, listen, before we do that though, I want to throw a plug out our hashtag 724, number 724, Facebook group. You guys got to go out there. If you haven't joined up, stop and see our Facebook Steelers group. We don't put up with all the crap you see in all those other ones. We just good conversation, good topics for discussion. Steelers Nation local number 724, representing the 724 area code, Western PA, which is about 5 times what the 412 area code area-wise is. So check us out there. Of course, you can see our Steelers Realm Facebook page as well too. and a lot of our comments as far as that goes. So, with that said, little break in there, get a plug in there. So, yeah, let's go into phase two. What we've been talking about really all freaking year long, and we'll continue to as camp even starts to heat up. But speaking of camp and coming up early August, though, we haven't even talked about this. We have some very, very exciting news for a special VIP guest coming on. So I'm just going to drop this bomb. Yeah, coming up on our August 4th episode will be none other than Pitt announcer, broadcaster, and Steelers announcer, broadcast, the Bill Hillgrove will be on Steelers Realm podcast coming up first week in August. And we are so pumped for that too, man. So spread the word. Can't wait for that to happen. That's a big weekend. Also, we're going to be spending a lot of time in Latrobe as well that weekend too, guys.
Yeah, it's a big
Super
time.
juiced.
And
yeah.
And for all of our listeners, just kind of to bring everything together, if there's a question you'd like us to ask Mr. Hillgrove in the interview, head to the 724 Facebook page. We shared it. Go down there, comment what you want us to ask him. You might get a shout out on the podcast and your question read to Mr. Hillgrove. Bill Hillgrove's kind of in my age, kind of a legend. I've heard him call Pitt basketball games, Pitt football games, and obviously Steelers games. And this is a man that's very busy, and he's taken the time out of his own life to sit down with us at Steelers Realm and just kind of talk about his broadcasting career.
Yeah. So let us know what you think, what you'd like to talk to him about. Sorry, CJ, cut out there a little bit, brother. But yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing some of those questions. I know I got mine already lined up. How about you guys? Got a few to throw out there.
Yep. Notebook
I'm
page
interested to see how the quarterback draft and how it transitions from Pitt to the Steelers and the whole thing. Him following him from I'm interested in that aspect on it. Can't wait to get his take on it.
I'm interested. His Novembers, man. Once November hits, he's calling Pitt basketball games during the week. He's heading to a Pitt football game on Saturday, and then a Steeler game on Sunday. How does this man live?
I don't know.
How does
he
live?
Along. He's a machine.
But you mentioned quarterbacks, JT. Let it rip.
It's that time.
Finally.
Who are we going to do? Who are we going to get? Who's going to stand out? I mean, we've heard all the comments already, right? We got 3 in the house. So, obviously, going into it, I'll just throw it out there. I think, it's Mitch's job to lose. See how camp progresses, but I'm just going to leave my comment at that regarding Mitch. And I hope he does well. I really do. Hope he becomes a superstar here in his first year at Pittsburgh. That would be cool in itself, right? I don't think anybody would complain about that.
Not at all. That's what I'm hoping for too.
What are your thoughts?
My thoughts are that Mitch is going to come in and he's not going to succeed he's going to succeed as a starter and he's not going to be giving it up. Because this is going to be the most talented offense that he has been able to play on in his career in the NFL. There's talent all over this offense. Now it's a matter of Matt Canada can utilize it to Mitch's skill set to use these weapons. But you got to think he took a pretty bad Chicago Bears team to the playoffs. He didn't get them far, but he got them to the playoffs. He did what he had to do. And I want to remind everybody that Mitchell was taking second overall, the first quarterback off the board in his draft. That's over Patty Mahomes, all those quarterbacks. He has a high ceiling, and I hope he does it here in Pittsburgh. Because
you mentioned that draft freight train. What do you think it speaks more to? The fact that the Bears were dumb enough to take him over a Deshaun Watson, a Patrick Mahomes? Or do you think it's that he showed more flashes in college than those two and he was in a bad system?
I think it was that Mitch was the more NFL ready quarterback to go in. Pat Mahomes was still considered kind of a prospect, a work in progress. He had the cannon arm, but he
Yeah,
played in Texas Tech.
he was very
raw.
raw. He was very raw
Yes.
at the time.
Mitch was ready. He was a pro quarterback coming out. So I think that's what gave him the upper hand. And he doesn't turn the ball over, too. That's a good thing about Mitch is he doesn't turn the ball over.
I'm really torn because part of me wants to see Mitch succeed, right? Because if Mitch is successful, the Steelers are going to be successful, right? But part of me is really scared that he's going to be the same quarterback that he was in Chicago, right? And if he is, it's not a big deal. So it's kind of one of those things where I'm going to say it. I'm going to keep saying it. I don't want to see Pickett start those first 3 games. I think it's too much for a rookie to be expected to go out there, play 3 games in 18 days and be successful. There's too many moving parts. There's too much to learn so fast. I think Mitch is kind of, he's got that deal where you're going to go out there, you're going to take a beating for 5 weeks. If we're 3-2, something like that, you're going to stay the starter. If it's 2-3, 1-4, hey, it's time to hold the clipboard. You did your best. Thanks for coming. Here's your money.
Well, in that same breath, though, the thing with Kenny Pickett that scares me, okay, it's not the small hands. We were told that Joe Burrow had small hands, and he's the best quarterback in this division. Okay. The thing that scares me the most is why, if he's considered the best quarterback in this class, why was he there when we picked at 20th? When there was teams that needed quarterbacks ahead of us. Why did he last that long?
I'm going to say this. I watched every start of Kenny Pickett's career. I'm a massive Pitt fan. I'll say that. I'm rooting for Kenny. He showed flashes early on in his career. He was injured. He was hurt. Then you factor in the small hands. He has a breakout year, his senior year, whatever. Gets overshadowed. We've seen NFL teams make dumb decision after dumb decision at the top of the draft in regards to QBs. Daniel Jones, Jamarcus Russells, it doesn't matter. Every team has made a bad pick. I don't care what the other 31 teams do in the NFL because outside of the Patriots, none of them can hold the water of the Pittsburgh Steelers. Period. We've seen it year after year, decision making after decision making, and we'll leave it at this. I believe at the end of the day, Mason Rudolph's going to not Mason Rudolph. Mason Rudolph's going to be gone, but Mitch Trubisky, he's going to start at least the first 5 games, right? And then we're going to see Pickett come in if things are struggling.
All right, scenario 1. Scenario 1 is Mitch, good or bad, good or mediocre. Let's leave it at that. Good or mediocre first 5 games. If Kenny's there or he struggles, you might start to see him get in the mix. And of course, what would it hurt to kind of mix the guys in and out here and there, too? I don't know. There's something to be said for continuity, but yeah, I don't want to see him start. I think it's too much pressure on him. He's not a young guy, but it's too much pressure right off the bat to be a Pittsburgh Steeler quarterback and to take all that on your shoulders, man. And secondly, I don't know that Mason Rudolph isn't even going to be around. So
I
what about our
I
third?
think he's gone.
Mm-hmm.
What about
If
our
they
third
can't
guy?
get anything, they'll trade him.
Backup?
Well, that all depends what
He's
happens
the
with Mason. I think if we don't get rid of Mason for some odd reason, he's going to be on the practice squad. But if we do trade Mason, I think he'll hold a clipboard as the
Chris will.
third stringer.
Mm.
Yeah.
you know,
yeah.
he's the Brian. Let's be honest, he's Brian St. Pierre. He might make the team, he might not make the team. I'm not going to lose sleep over it. Just save your money, brother.
Who was the other Steeler quarterback with the like dark hair and the big mustache? Another James like St. Pierre. I mentioned I said his name earlier too.
Around what time frame?
Oh, right around that time frame too. Oh, I can't think of it. I can see it. It'll come to me.
Are
later.
you thinking of Grodkowski?
No,
Bruce-
no.
oh,
Bruce Grodkowski. No,
Yeah.
no. It'll come to me. Anyhow, yeah. So I don't know. You guys, what do you, as a whole, do we think Mason Rudolph is going to be to make it to the start of the season?
I don't think
No.
so.
Freight Train
I
says
don't
no.
think so.
No.
So
No.
that leaves us.
We're
two
going to trade.
quarterbacks?
Hopefully, no. And then Chris will be the third string,
Mhm.
or they'll sign someone. They'll sign a veteran, which I'd really like and prefer, and then they'll send Chris to the practice squad,
Practice squad, right?
and he can be the scout team hero, which with his mobility in this division helps when it comes to playing the Ravens.
Well, and these are a couple of things that I can't wait to see at camp, guys.
Absolutely. We'll see it front
Wait to
row.
see how that will. Yep. See
Mhm.
how that all breaks down.
Yep.
So
Is it my time, JT?
interesting. This story is only beginning to be written here too, but yeah, it's what time is it?
And now it's time for Steelers Realms History Forged in Steel.
All right, Steelers Realm. I'm excited for this one. This one's going to be a fun one. So, in January 27th, 1955, the Steelers select Johnny Unitas in the 9th round. Could you imagine our fortune if we would have stuck with Johnny Unitas?
Speaking of quarterbacks, wow,
In the 9th round.
9th round, crazy.
Talk about a bargain pick.
You're not
And
kidding.
then in January 29th, 1974, the Steelers have the most iconic draft in football history, selecting 4 future Hall of Famers in the same draft. And I'm sure all of you can say it with me. Lynn Swann, Jack Lambert, John Stallworth, and Mike Webster, all in the same draft. You know, and
Iconic.
if you listen to the Joe Gordon podcast, he doesn't think that'll ever happen again. I'd say I'd have to believe him. In the
Oh,
same
yeah.
draft. But the same team. Now the draft
Just
class
a
of
different-
04 will have 4, but they're not the same team.
Just a different era in general of football.
Right. And then this last one is really interesting. So February 8th of 1936, the Steelers select Bill Shakespeare in the first round, number 3 overall, in the very first NFL draft. Now, the draft was
Okay.
held at a Ritz-Carlton, and there was a pool of 90 players that they could choose from. So, look at how the draft has evolved. We're talking about having drafts in January and February here, and now it's moved all the way back into April.
All right. So here's a question then. All right. So the Steelers were formed in 1933, right?
Yes.
And this was the first draft. So what did they do for players up until then?
I guess it was just kind of find them and offer them a contract.
Hey, Jimmy, you
Throw
want
it
to
out
leave a
there in the
steel
paper.
mail? You
Yeah.
want to leave a steel mill, Jimmy? We got
Yeah.
a football game later.
All you got
Boy,
to
look
do
at
is
that
run
guy.
this ball. All you got to do is run.
Yeah. It was a bunch of farm boys and steel workers.
Interesting stuff. Yeah, but hey, I agree. You'll never have another draft like that. Never have another draft like that.
No.
That draft is insane.
That's unheard of.
Yeah, so CJ, we started doing something here this past week or so. I guess we've been kind of finally ramping up to it. But why don't you tell Steelers Nation, if they haven't tuned in, how to get some good reading material?
Hey, head to the SteelersRealm.com. Click on the blogs. We've been throwing more out there. This week we've released a few stories on how we became Steelers fans and why. Kind of talking about what it means to us to be a Steelers fan. Last week I kind of broke down why I think it's very important for the Steelers to head back to Latrobe and kind of bond as a team and what that actually means with all these new young guys. And I threw it out there. I threw my official predictions for the 2022 season right out there for everyone to see. There's some very interesting stuff there. Take a peek. You might be interested to see who I chose to win the AFC North. And I think you're going to be very interested to see who I chose to win Defensive Player of the Year. And it's not who you think. Starting once the NFL regular season gets kicked off, we're going to have the skid mark of the week. It's going to be, you're going to be sitting there at work on Mondays and you're going to be seeing highlight after highlight from games. This is going to be the exact opposite. This is the lowlights. This is the people that blew it for their team, the reason why they lost. And we're going to try to get a little entertaining with it, have a little fun with it. You might even see your favorite college involved if it's that bad. But no, this is something we just launched. We've gotten great results so far. We've gotten more engagement, and if there's something that you want us to explore, shoot us a DM on Twitter, Facebook. Reach out to us. We're here to have fun, just like you, and we're here to entertain.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely, man. Good job so far on that too. By the way, good reads out there. I think we all have a couple stories out there, so things are picking up, man. And as we're working our way towards camp, really looking forward to getting your input out there too, Steeler Nation. So make sure to check out SteelersRealm.com, the blog section, and we'll be putting content out there regularly, and then of course throwing it out on social media too. So, hey, we're working our way towards August, guys, for us to be able to all be together at training camp. It's ready to start actually before that, though, on the 26th. And when is it? First practice, they'll show up. That's the day when you see all the players. Like, remember Brett Kiesel pulling up in a freaking front end loader and
guys,
oh man,
what if AB shows up? Seriously, what if AB just shows up?
Oh my!
Hopefully he's clothed.
A debacle. That would be interesting. But anyhow, yeah, the first practice for people to come is the 27th. And then after that, of course, Friday Night Lights. It's back in Latrobe Memorial Stadium. That's the high school football field. For those of you who don't know, Steeler Nation. And we'll be down there. And I think even Bubba from Triple B Experience will be down there too. We'll be doing some Facebook Live stuff all through the night. That's back at 7 p.m. Come on out and stop out and see us. And then, of course, we'll be there the following Saturday after we check out a little bit of golf on Arnie's course. Right, gentlemen? I think we're going to do that. Check out the local course. And then back at training camp for that Saturday, too. So a lot of stuff going on. And then, of course, work our way towards the first preseason game. That's home against Seattle on August 13th. And then after that, it's the last practice will be the 18th. So that'll be it for training camp. So if you can, make it down to Latrobe, Pennsylvania, right along Route 30 on the other side of Pittsburgh. And hopefully we'll bump into you. Pretty cool stuff, guys.
Yep, can't wait to be there.
When the rubber
Absolutely
meets
can't
the
wait.
road, where the rubber meets the road. So what else, guys? Anything else? A little
All
bit
right,
of juice.
We're gonna step outside the realm here. We got a little bit of interesting stuff going on here in the NFL. Troy
Okay, cool.
Vincent, all right, he's working with a group called Vision 28. He's hoping to get flag football added to the Olympic Games in 2028. Me personally, I vote no. Just quick,
No.
yes, no. Nope.
Why? Why is
Nope.
that?
I just, it's flag football. There's enough dumb summer sports. I don't need another one. Give me track and field, basketball. I'm good.
Yeah.
Who the hell are they going to play, by the way? That's my question.
The flag football?
Yeah.
There's
Give me
teams
a
all over
country.
the place.
What country?
Pick a country, and they have one.
Kazakhstan
It's been
does
on
not
TV.
have.
Haven't you noticed it? It's been on. I
on
watched it. It was on the
Kazakhstan.
tube the other day.
All right.
I'm
No.
telling you what,
Next,
there's some good
next.
athletes that play it.
Next. No.
Just
Okay.
saying.
You overran your out. Your quota is up. Continue.
Jimmy G. So 49ers gave Jimmy G the right. Well, not the right, the permission to seek a trade. My thing is, when I look at this, I don't see too many teams at this point in time, maybe the Seahawks, that would actually kind of explore that idea this late in the game.
Or Atlanta, maybe.
Yeah.
Quite possibly.
Yeah. I could see that. Let Desmond Ridder kind of sit behind him and learn. But then you have, what do you do in that situation with Mariota, right? Who you probably promised the starting job to.
Yeah, don't mean anything. Ask Cleveland Browns.
Fair enough. But the Falcons are actually pretty close in terms of being a dog shit franchise like the Browns.
Yeah,
But
they're not
one
far
thing
behind.
I kind of want to expand just real quickly on this too. When you look at, they've said that Trey Lance is going to be their guy, right? What happens? You can't keep Jimmy G on the roster, and then he goes out there and Trey Lance struggles, right? Because then you create that divide in the locker room. Because we've heard numerous 49ers say that, Jimmy G's their quarterback, so on and so forth throughout the years. I think that a shoe has to drop within the next 10 days.
Yeah, I mean, there's too much going on. They're gonna just ride or die with him. I mean, at this point, it's so divided. You're gonna have to just
That's what
pick
I'm
a side and stick with it.
Yeah, that's why I'm saying that, they got to get rid of him.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
JT,
guys, up against the clock here. 2 minutes to wrap up. Here we got. Go ahead. What were you going to say?
Oh, I was going to say, and then my favorite, Dan Snyder. My favorite man. He's going to get to finally testify virtually, which could have been done a month ago. But
what
hey,
a guy.
What a guy.
What a guy. Hey, let me throw this one out here. The Browns debacle. Josh Rosen signed. Reached an agreement with the Browns.
I will never forget on Instagram seeing that indoor hot tub with him and that woman. And I will leave it at that.
I'm just ticked. I was hoping to go in seeing Josh Dobbs start for him. Now he's got somebody else to compete with.
Hey, maybe Josh Rosen can start for that 7-on-7 flag football team that you want in the Olympics.
There we go. You would watch then.
No, I wouldn't.
All right, guys. Anything else outside the realm before we just put a fork in this one?
Kyler Murray got a new contract.
Oh, yes, that's right.
There's a little bit of controversy in that we're going to have to break down next week, though. There's some unhappy. The NFLPA is a little unhappy about that contract, and we'll leave you with that until next week.
Yep.
Well, let's jump into that. Make a note of that, man. Definitely. Well, hey, man, appreciate you guys helping out tonight and throwing all that info out there. I've been working towards some other stuff work-wise. It's been just taking up all my time, so apologize for that in advance. But hey, guys, I'm looking forward to heading towards the weekend. Have a great week. I'm going to be off next week. I miss you guys, but careful in the hot tub, man. Safe travels out there. Love you, brothers. Steeler Nation, careful in the hot tub, and we'll see you next time. We are out of here.
Adios, Steelers Nation.
Hey, the Buccas play today. That'll cheer up your weekend.
Check back next week into the Steelers Realm.